Welcome to At the Bar with Stave and Sly. I'm Dan, and this is Corey. We managed to get him from behind the camera, sitting at the bar with us today.
Yeah, it's great to be out from behind in the depths of production, as it would be, and join you out here in the front. We're kind of looking a little spiffy today, if I do say so myself. Yeah. And I see we've got the Woodford Reserve, the Kentucky Derby Special.
That we do.
Got some roses over there.
Yep.
Silver julep glasses.
Ooh, yes, sir.
It's got to be one thing.
What do you think it is?
It's got to be the Mint Julep.
Oh, you're a quick one. Nothing gets past this guy.
Well, I wrote the script.
There you go. Yeah, so we are making the Mint Julep, getting ready for the Kentucky Derby, the 150th run for the Roses.
Great.
So in honor of the Kentucky Derby, we're making the official drink of the Kentucky Derby, the Mint Julep.
Nothing better on a hot day.
Absolutely. It is a fantastic cocktail on a hot summer sweltering day. A mint julep is so refreshing, so delicious. We love it. One of my favorite cocktails. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'll slide this out of the way for you.
Yeah, let's do it. Sounds good. Okay. So first thing we need to talk about are our julep cups. Right here. Silver mint julep cups. Why are we using silver cups instead of just like a traditional rocks glass?
So, based on my limited understanding, the silver julep cup will draw the cold from the cocktail and then hold it in the cup, therefore making the drink stay colder longer.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the silver julep cup is absolutely going to do that. It's a conductor. So what it's going to do is we are going to use crushed ice into this cocktail. And normally, if you would put crushed ice into like a rocks glass, that'd melt pretty quickly. Yep. So if you were going to put that glass on, like say, a tabletop wood outside on a hot day, ice is going to melt really quickly. You're going to get that ring. You're going to get that.
The glass is going to sweat.
The glass is going to sweat. Yeah, 100%.
This isn't going to sweat though.
Not going to do it. What it is going to do, and you're going to see here in a little bit, and that's where the magic happens. You're going to see in a moment. That glass is going to get really frosty. Really cold because it is a conductor. So that glass is going to get freezing cold, but inside that drink is going to be ice cold, but it's not going to melt. It's going to stay cold longer. So that crushed ice, it's small pebble crushed ice, you would think that it might melt quickly because it's small ice, but it's not going to do that inside the silver glass.
Perfect.
And that's why we use it.
Great.
Okay. We're going to get started with some mint. Fresh mint, always best. I like to grow mint out in the garden, especially in the summertime. Mint just grows like wildfire. So, you plant it, you can't get rid of it even if you wanted to. So I like to have some growing out there. Go outside and pick some fresh mint if you got it, or go to the grocery store. Love using fresh mint. I like a minty mint julep. How about yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to throw 5, 6, 8, 10, 12. I'm not counting. I'm just putting them in there. Mint leaves into my mint julep cup. Okay. Next, we are going to add our simple syrup. We're doing a half an ounce. I have a Demerara simple syrup.
While you're doing this, we talked a little bit earlier about the potential for making a mint simple syrup.
Right.
To kind of, I don't know that you'd say it would save a step because it's the same number of steps if you count making the syrup, but maybe to speed up the making of the cocktail, to skip the muddling that you're about to do by just having everything all pre-done into a simple syrup. And you don't suggest that, right? You think fresh is always better with anything, but there were a few things that you thought were a detractor from doing.
Yeah, I think so. So fresh is best all the time if you can. Fresh citrus, fresh juice, fresh syrups. There's a lot of commercially purchase things you can get that are good. They've come a long way with some of those things. You can buy mint syrup. I have tried to make mint simple syrup. I have found that a lot of the commercially available mint syrups, even the Woodford Reserve one that they sell, and the Old Forester bottled mint julep that they sell, that is the official mint julep by Old Forester cocktail pre-batched. I find it still has a little bit of like a chemically kind of an aftertaste.
Yeah.
Mint is tricky to make in a simple syrup because it really breaks down like the mint, and it just gives kind of an off flavor in my opinion. I think it's tricky to do to make a sustaining syrup and to really extract those flavors and make it last and to make it have a high quality, natural, fresh taste. I follow a couple of really great cocktail experts out there. I'm not necessarily one of them, but I follow some other ones. How to Drink is a great channel. Yeah, that's a really good one. And he's tried making a mint syrup, and he's not really been successful with it. I know that he has talked about a method that he thinks might be successful, where he proposes making a simple syrup in advance, heating it up the traditional way, letting that cool, and then steeping your mint in that, not warm, but cool for several hours afterwards, trying to extract some of that mint flavors, thereby not breaking the mint down, and that might work better. I think it's a lot of work. I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze on that, as far as I'm concerned. What did I do? I grabbed some fresh mint, I threw the leaves in the cup, and I'm about to muddle it and lightly break it down, and that's a whole lot less work than making the syrup and putting the mint in there and waiting 12 hours or whatever and bottling it and then hoping it lasts a week or two and it tastes good. So, my opinion, throw the mint leaves in there, do a gentle muddle here, because we really don't want to macerate this. We don't want to break these leaves apart, because then you're going to get bitterness out of that. So you really just want to extract some of that minty fresh goodness, light muddle.
And I think even if you're entertaining, if the notion in your head is, well, I could kick out these juleps for my guests a lot faster than muddling, I think your guests will enjoy seeing the process of their cocktail being made and be impressed the amount of flavor that they're going to get.
That's part of it.
From just the fresh muddle.
Yeah. And you're sitting here, right? And what do you smell right now?
I can smell
just with this muddling. Yeah. Just that little bit. I didn't put a lot of work in there. I didn't tear that mint apart. A little bit of muddling with that simple syrup. That mint is in the air, and it's about to get a whole lot better. So now, let's add some bourbon.
It's the best part.
Absolutely. We could just do the bourbon by itself, and I'd be all right with that. But we're making a mint julep because it's the Kentucky Derby.
Every day.
We're not just drinking. We drink bourbon every day, just every day. But today we're making a mint julep because it's the Kentucky Derby. So we're doing it right. 2 ounces of the Woodford Reserve. Did we mention that this is the commemorative? Okay, yeah, 150th. Yeah, nice, pretty bottle. It's the same juice as the regular Woodford Reserve, but it is just in this nice bottle.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, every year Woodford puts out a Derby special bottle with a different label, specific artwork for that year, and because this year is the 150th running, obviously.
Yep.
We've got the 150 on there, and that you'll see some other things out and about in the market if you're out shopping around, glasses and that sort of thing.
Yep.
There is, I believe, a set with this and a couple of the 150 glasses, but we don't want to use glass.
No, we don't want to use glass. You can buy the commemorative glass. They look great. I guess you can put something else in there, just bourbon. You could just get your commemorative glass and just pour the bourbon in, and that would be fantastic. Yeah. But we're not going to make a mint julep in that commemorative glass. Let's talk about the ice now. So we mentioned the crushed ice, right?
Right.
So we're putting the crushed ice in this cocktail. I already crushed my ice ahead of time because I use a Lewis bag to crush my ice. And the reason that I do that is because it's a fantastic tool here. It is this canvas bag. Put your ice in this, and then you use this mallet hammer, and you whack it. Take out all your aggressions, and this works really great. It's a useful tool. And the reason that this is so effective is because the canvas in the bag absorbs the moisture of the ice. So when you're crushing ice, it gets real small. It can melt quickly. All of that moisture gets absorbed by this canvas bag. So when you reach your scoop in there and get it out of there, you get nice dry ice.
You're not dumping water in.
Exactly. You don't want to do that. So I did do mine ahead of time because I don't want to be banging and making a lot of noise on camera here. That's not cool. Plus, we do have a blooper reel that we're not going to show you, but I broke a glass earlier. I haven't told my wife that yet.
Surprise.
Hey. All right. On to the ice. We're going to go ahead and fill our cup up here with our crushed ice. We're going to do this about 2/3 of the way full.
So while you're scooping the ice, some other options we also discussed for the ice. If you live near a Sonic,
yes,
you could just go buy the Pebble Ice from Sonic, and that's pretty much all you need.
Great option. Cheap Pebble Ice. Come back with a couple of cheeseburgers. It works really well too.
Bingo. If you have a crushed ice option on your home refrigerator. You can use that as well. There's nothing wrong with that. We would caution you that, as most of you probably have experienced, sometimes you put your leftovers in the fridge or whatnot, and those odors kind of circulate through, and your ice can pick up a hint of whatever you've got stored in there, onions or garlic.
Definitely be aware of those off-putting flavors that might, if your ice already has those flavors, that can definitely impart that into your cocktail. So be aware of that. We're going to stir. Got my handy little derby stirrer here. We got the
Silver Steed.
We're calling the Silver Steed. All right. Wonder how this guy's going to do in the derby. Right now, he's doing just fine. Stirring up our mint julep.
And I don't know if it's being picked up or not, but I can hear you clearly scraping the bottom of the cup with that.
Oh yeah, sure, mixing it all around.
Get all that
mint
and
syrup. All that syrup. I'm mixing everything around, and look what's happening in that glass.
It's cold before you even touch it. This one's already starting to frost as well.
All right, getting this guy. Ooh, get back in there. Oh, nope, you do not belong outside of there. All right, mixing up real nice. Frosty glass. That, I like to say, is where the magic happens in the mint julep. That's what we want. Now, we are going to continue to add ice to this glass. And what do we call this, Tori?
We're going to make it look like a Kentucky snow cone.
Absolutely.
I'm going to heap the ice over the top there.
Take a nice little dome. Add all that ice, get it all in there. Beautiful. All right, we're going to take our mixing straws here. A nice little hole in there. What are we going to do with that hole? What are we going to do?
Time for more mint.
Absolutely.
Time for garnish.
Bam. Oh, awesome mint. Okay, more of this fresh mint here. Just going to give a nice little smack here. Look at that.
And just that little bit, I can already, the room is already aloof with mint.
We've got our garnish in there, and the straw is right there next to that mint. So that when you take a sip of that mint julep, that mint is right there in your face.
It's similar to expressing an orange peel over an old fashioned.
Absolutely. You're getting all those aromas, all those flavors, all those smells are right there. Pull these stems off. We don't want all those stems in there. All right, so what we're doing here is we've made our cocktail now. Corey and I are going to enjoy this mint julep, and then we're going to wax a little poetic on the julep. We're going to have a conversation about the history of the drink. We'll talk a little bit about it, give you guys some information on where this cocktail comes from. A little bit of some cool facts about it, but before we do that, we need to see how this tastes. See if I did an alright job.
So you see how Dan has picked up his cup there. You don't want to either top or the bottom of the cup. You don't want to grab it around, just like Hulk the cup. You
don't want to put the big paw in there because look at all that. Look at that frostiness right there. We do not want to disrupt that. That is beautiful. That's what you want. That is a cold frosty mint julep. And if I was sitting outside on a hot summer Kentucky day, this is exactly what I want. This is an ice cold mint julep, and this smells and tastes absolutely delicious. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
So the mint. So we did a lot of research to bring some facts together to talk about in the video, and we found so many things that we're just going to hit a few of the highlights, and then we're going to expand on that and then some in the accompanying article that we'll post on the website at staveandslide.com.
Staveandslide.com.
When we post the video or shortly after we post the video. But in the research, we were talking about the mint, and you mentioned earlier you could just go to the store and buy some, or you could plant your own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and I both have experienced the planting of your own. It just takes over everything.
It does.
But somebody else planted their own that we learned.
It did.
Who was that?
Former president of ours, Teddy Roosevelt. And where did he plant it? He planted it on the White House grounds. And he just so happened to have his own mint julep recipe, which was quite different from the traditional mint julep recipe and the one that we presented here today. Maybe we should make Teddy Roosevelt's mint julep.
Maybe another good
That
video.
could be a good episode for down the road. But if you follow us on staveandslide.com, and if you check out our subsequent article that we're going to write on the mint julep, we are going to actually provide President Roosevelt's mint julep recipe for you, so you can check that out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to compare. And
sure.
If anybody else makes the traditional version and the Teddy Roosevelt version, let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think of
compare
the
the two.
which is better.
Which is an interesting fact, because that takes us back to really the history of the julep, because it was not always what you see here today. This is not how the mint julep started. What we have now with the Kentucky version of the mint julep with mint and the bourbon, this is not always the way that the drink originally was. Right.
So before we even get to the drink itself, what about the word julep?
Julep.
We learned about the word julep.
Great question.
Where does that come from?
The word julep actually comes from a couple of words, Persian word golab and the Arab word julab, which both basically translate to rose water. So this drink, the julep itself, was a medicinal drink that really predates the cocktail itself. So before the cocktail really became into existence, the julep was predating that way before. And it was a drink made with by steeping rose petals. And that was something that was being consumed in the Mediterranean, in the Middle East, and then it transitioned into the Mediterranean, south of France, into Europe, and then as most things do, it transitions based off of geography and tastes and ingredients. So eventually, as it moved into the Mediterranean and Europe, the rose petal was replaced with mint, which was indigenous to that area, and the water, ended up being, less and less and less, and then it started getting replaced with some other ingredients like
Spice it up a little.
like cognac and brandy and things that you'd find in France and in Europe, and
Still pretty medicinal, if you ask me.
very medicinal. Then, well, that's how we used to cure our ailments a long time ago.
That's right.
We said, hey, I don't feel good, so let me get up in the morning and have.
So it's interesting
julep.
that, and I don't know if it was intentional or known at the time, so on and so forth, but the official drink of the Kentucky Derby,
Yes.
also known as the Run for the Roses,
For the roses.
traces its lineage back to a drink that was literally made with roses.
Rose water.
Rose
It's
water.
fantastic.
It's
Probably not intentional, purely coincidental, but of a fantastic clash of things in history that bring things together that are really incredible.
So you
I find it
mentioned
fascinating.
that cognac was one of the first spirits
It
used.
was.
I know we read that rum was also a common spirit that was used.
Rum was being used in the drink in Virginia. It was very popular in Virginia.
So when I think of rum,
Mm-hmm.
one of the folks that comes to mind is Ernest Hemingway.
I have.
He's a
Comes to my mind too. Papa Hemingway.
big rum guy.
Yeah.
But he was a julep fan,
He was.
but not a rum variation.
He liked his with
A
bourbon.
traditional bourbon.
He was.
And we found a story about that.
So, Papa Hemingway was at a watering hole in Paris at a Parisian bar, as he usually found himself in those kind of establishments everywhere that he went. And he was enjoying a julep, or actually he was not enjoying it, as the story goes. He was not enjoying his julep. So much so he was not enjoying his julep that he smashed his glass against the wall in disgust as to the quality of the beverage that he was served in this Parisian bar. There were some Kentuckians reportedly that overheard this whole situation that was unfolding in this bar, and they proceeded to produce a bottle of Maker's Mark from their travel bag and called up for cement and reportedly made a proper mint julep made with Kentucky bourbon for Ernest Hemingway.
That's it. And took home a great story.
Absolutely.
We should put all travel.
And I think we should drink to
Cheers
Ernest
to
Hemingway.
Ernest Hemingway.
Cheers. And cheers to the mint julep being demanded to be consumed and enjoyed the right way. And one other thing to note about this is that this drink just gets better.
I was just going to say it.
Yeah.
The flavors have evolved just since the first sip.
Mm-hmm.
So, keeping with the writer theme and the literature theme, we also discovered some other folks are fans of the mint julep, some contemporaries of old Papa Hemingway there. Who
Absolutely.
was that?
Charles Dickens was a big fan of the mint julep. There were so many. Another one that I'm quite fond of was William Faulkner. His homestead in Oxford, Mississippi, home of the Ole Miss Rebels. Hotty toddy. Had to give that shout out. So if you actually go and tour his homestead, his julep cup is on display at his home in Oxford, Mississippi. And a great story about William Faulkner, reportedly at a famous bar in Hollywood, California, he would hop behind the bar and he would make his own mint juleps.
Well, anything worth doing is worth doing yourself.
Yes, and there's many times that I wish that I could hop behind the bar and make my own cocktail because I wasn't quite certain something that I...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, sticking with the literature, there are several literary works that we discovered that either mention the mint julep directly or indirectly allude to the mint julep.
Yes.
And I noticed before we got started, you got a couple of them sitting behind the bar already.
I do. I have a couple of great ones. First, we have The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. If you have read the novel, hopefully you have, or if you watched the movie, you will recall the scene on a particularly sweltering New York day where they travel to the Plaza Hotel in New York, and there is a rather heated discussion between Tom Buchanan and Jay Gatsby. And here's how it goes. "That's a great expression of yours, isn't it?" said Tom sharply. "What is? All this old sport business. Where'd you pick that up?" "Now see here, Tom," said Daisy, turning around from the mirror. "If you're going to make personal remarks, I won't stay here a minute. Call up and order some ice for the mint julep." So,
She knows her cocktails.
she absolutely does. And I don't think it's any coincidence that F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife, Zelda, was a Southern Belle herself.
I'm sure that's where he got the influence.
100%.
So from one Southern Belle to another, I see you got another work back there, Miss
We
Scarlett.
Yeah, we got another one. We got Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell and Scarlett O'Hara. There's another reference to this fantastic cocktail in here. Got another passage that I'll read. "There was indignation in his hoarse bass voice, but also a wheedling note, and Scarlett teasingly clicked her tongue against her teeth as she reached out to pull his cravat into place. His breath in her face was strong with bourbon whiskey, mingled with a faint fragrance of mint. Accompanying him also were the smells of chewing tobacco, well-oiled leather, and horses, a combination of odors that she always associated with her father and instinctively liked in other men." Well, clear reference to the mint julep and maybe some other things there that we don't have time to get to in this episode.
Yeah. So this is the julep, official drink of the Kentucky Derby. Since when?
Since 1938.
38.
Yeah.
And we used Woodford Reserve. Now you can use any kind of bourbon you want.
Yeah.
Woodford Reserve, though.
We use Woodford. Woodford Reserve is the official bourbon of the Kentucky Derby, and it has been the official bourbon since 1999. So that's what we're going with. You can use whatever you want. We like a nice 90 to 100 proof bourbon. It holds up well with the mint and the sugar. Woodford Reserve is a classic. It's the official bourbon, so you can't go wrong with it.
Do it right. And I see one other thing over there.
Yeah. So we are going to continue enjoying our mint julep, and I think that it calls for taking this out on the patio and maybe lighting up a cigar with it. So as you will notice, most of our cocktails that we do, we like to do a cigar pairing. So with the mint julep, we are suggesting the Romeo y Julieta 1875. Now, there is actually a commemorative 150th anniversary Kentucky Derby Romeo y Julieta 1875 cigar specially made for the Kentucky Derby. It is a special blend, slightly different than your traditional 1875. Not much different, but it is a little bit of a different blend. You can only get it in Kentucky. And there is a special Churchill size that you can only get at Churchill Downs on Derby Day. We did not travel to Kentucky. We are not going to Churchill Downs. but we are also suggesting the 1875 4-year cigar pairing with this cocktail. We will get into it, into the cigar pairing, into the flavor notes, and how it goes together so great with this drink in our article that we're going to write on the Mint Julep, that you can get in more information on stayandslide.com. So we hope that you will go to the website and check out our article. Hope that you subscribe, like the video, and maybe give us some comments and feedback. What you like, what maybe you want to see some more of.
Absolutely.
Give us some suggestions, right? What do you want to? What do you want to see?
Some suggestions of what you all would like to see. Give us a challenge. If we don't know how to make it, we'll figure out how to make it. And we'll film it.
Love the challenge, and as you can tell, we enjoy doing this, and we hope to bring you many more videos exploring the world of bourbon and cocktails and cigar pairings, and of course blues music, and just enjoying it. Hopefully, you have good luck on Derby Day. Hopefully, your horse does well. We don't know how Silver Steed's going to do here. We'll see. Maybe
he did good today.
Yeah, did good today. It definitely worked out for us. But if you don't do so good at the tracks, then just keep making mint juleps, and your day will be all right. I promise you. Until next time, cheers and stay and slide.